It's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your Energy and Ascension Forecast for Sunday, January 2nd to Saturday, January 8th. Well, welcome to the very last day of 2021. If you are with me Friday evening, New Year's Eve, then we are all coming together in the spiritual community in order to usher 2021 out and usher 2022 in all the right ways. So for many of us, we definitely survived the holiday season. For me, I know that New Year's is definitely more special for me than Christmas, than all that fluff. Depending on what it is that you celebrate and who it is you celebrated with, I betcha we're glad to get through it. The energy that shifts while leaving one year behind and moving into the next is pretty dramatic. And I'm definitely looking forward to dropping 2022's energy forecast. I'm thinking maybe Sunday, so definitely watch out for that. I am very happy to be with you guys here this evening. I've really noticed over this past week that many of us have definitely felt the pressure, felt the squeeze, felt the distance in our physical realms, kind of created by ascending. Many of us leveled up. Well, friends and families decided to stay on that lower vibe. And in these social situations, we're definitely feeling that divide much more than many of us would prefer. But that just lets us know that these types of interactions with our soul tribe, with our spirit family, this is what we need right now. The distance that's being created in our physical realms is pushing us to connect with those that we're in alignment with, like-minded individuals on the same vibration with in the digital realm. Of course, I think it would be beautiful one day for all of us to physically find ourselves in a situation where we're all together in this physical realm. But when we have to kind of slow down and understand why it is that we're spread out the way that we are over the world, we are all individual beacons of light. And many of us, we're the only light in our physical realms. And it's a very important job. Not only are we lighting the way for those that are still asleep and those that are just awakened, but we are beings of light, creating a connection, a web, if you will, connecting with all of us out there that are beacons of light, and creating this energetic grid that we are now starting to see on the Schumann Resonance. This is the new foundation. This is new earth. And if you're feeling alone and distance and kind of isolated in your physical realm, then you have to know the weight of the roles and responsibility that your higher self signed you up for. You can get through this. And it means that we kind of come together in this digital realm in order to reassure one another and validate one another that we're not alone, we're doing our jobs. And guess what? There's many, many more of us than we would ever imagine. And it's this community that we are going to build new earth on, for, and with. So I want to thank you for being here. So let's cover this last week, if we will. Of course, we had our very last quarter moon in Libra on Boxing Day on the 26th. And this definitely kind of gave us an opportunity to see where it is that, guess what? Things aren't in balance. That there is no peace. There is no harmony. And it definitely highlighted where it is that we have to make more of an effort to create more joy and happiness in our lives, to recognize those silver linings where there is balance, there is peace, there is joy and harmony, to hold on to those silver linings, to bottle that stuff up and huff it later. We had Jupiter move into Pisces, and this is a big deal, and you're likely feeling this energy, whether you're able to put your finger on it or not. Now, again, if you didn't listen to this astro forecast in December's energy forecast about Jupiter moving into Pisces, please go ahead and do that now. It does give us a little bit more of an in-depth overview, the pros and cons of this energy, what it is that we have to look forward to. But of course, Jupiter wants us to grow, wants us to expand, wants us to pull out the wisdom from our previous experiences and really kind of dream a bigger dream. We're in Pisces energy now. This is imagination. This is creativity. This is our spiritual selves. We're thinking outside the box. We're thinking even outside of our physical realms on what is possible. And it is a great time to be dreaming about the future and the kind of reality that we want to be ushering in, not only individually moving into a brand new year where we're setting some very serious goals in Capricorn season and with the new moon in Capricorn, but collectively, we are really pushing our limits with what it is that we actually believe is possible, building this new earth, seeing the collapse of these systems, these structures that are just not supporting humanity, just not, designed to empower us. And it is up to us, again, the light bringers, the way showers, it is up to us to hold that vision, that beautiful visual of the reality of new earth in which we want to create and dream the biggest dream possible, tapping into new abilities, new senses that are coming online in order to actually shift the collective to get there. So we have this overwhelming hope, overwhelming just possible abundance ushering in, really kind of maximizing our spiritual abilities at this particular time, opening up our mind space, our heart space to the blessings that are coming in. They're ordered, they're scheduled, they're on their way. We just have to hold that vision. So this week, what do we have to look forward to? Well, Mercury is going to move out of Capricorn and move into Aquarius. Mercury actually just entered into his pre-shadow period. He will be going retrograde in Aquarius on the 14th. And in the 2022 energy forecast, I go a little bit more in depth about all the different Mercury retrogrades that we can have and expect and open our minds to this year, as they all begin in air signs and they all end in earth signs, which is going to give us a beautiful opportunity to really rework our thoughts, our perspective, our ideas, and then bring them to earth, bring them to reality in that earth energy. So we have that to look forward to. Just hours after Mercury moves into Aquarius, really opening our minds up, pushing the limits of our thought processes, our imagination, our plans, our calculated and strategic outlook and insights for the next little chapter, if you will. We are building foundations, right? We've been talking about this. I'm going to continue talking about this. 2022 is the year of building foundations, perfecting those foundations. And especially in Capricorn season, coming into this brand new year, we have to be very focused on setting the stage, not only for this year, but for the years to come. And hours after Mercury moves into Aquarius, opening our mind space up and downloading us with new vision and insight, we have the new moon taking place in Capricorn. And let me tell you, this is a very, very interesting new moon. And if I was not a procrastinator, the new moon guide would have been up like a week ago. However, I'm still struggling through it. Hopefully it will be online as you're listening to this. If it is, go ahead, check it out, download it. This is a beautiful energy for us to get this brand new year started off on. Again, the focus is long-term foundations, long-term goals, what we can do in the here and now to roll up our sleeves and start building the cornerstones that are needed under this foundation that needs to be strong enough to house the new reality that we are ushering in at a very accelerated rate. So we have the new moon in Capricorn really kicking things off here in 2022. And of course, those are the big aspects, but this week will be about kind of adjusting to this new energy, to this new life lesson that we are now kind of moving into with 2022, bringing a brand new jam, a brand new frequency and vibration for us to work with. And we will be building towards the first quarter moon in Aries on the 9th. Now, let me tell you, we do not get the green light go to take any kind of action on any kind of plans, on any kind of building, any kind of reorg, restructuring until We hit that first quarter moon in Aries. Thank goodness it's in Aries. It's a fresh start. So what are we doing up until then? Not only are we thinking in a detailed fashion about our plans and moving forward, but we are purging, we are releasing, we are cleansing. We really have to be finalized with some of the things that we are leaving behind. Again, we have to raise our vibration and frequency. We have to lighten the load, especially emotionally. Many of us have had some very tough love life lessons through this holiday season. They don't feel so good. We have to do the kind of review, if you will, as we end off one year and prepare to enter into another. We have to review. We have to reflect. We have to give ourselves time to kind of just sit with it, because we're leaving it in the past where it belongs, where it's not going to weight us down, where it's not going to interrupt our plans moving forward, where it's not going to lower our vibration every single time we get triggered by something that took place in the past. So we have a lot of work to do. And you best believe our physical bodies are going to feel it. We'll jump into the Ascension Symptoms in just a sec. But first, a couple of things that I want to throw at you. First of all, sending you huge love. I felt the heaviness, the weight of the collective, and especially of this community over this holiday season. It was a very tough time, and many of us put on very brave faces. Many of us tried to stay light and high vibe, but many of us definitely felt the weight, the semi-depression, the absolute distance, the absolute isolation, especially not feeling connected to those that we were once very in alignment with. So my heart goes out to each and every single one of you, regardless of your experience. Please know that you're never alone. We're all together in this. I also wanted to mention, I love when you guys reach out to me. I really do. But I got to make this very clear, and I'm not trying to pinpoint anybody, because trust me, I have a whole inbox of people that I could use as an example. So there's no one person that I'm kind of calling out here. I love getting emails from you guys, but here's the thing. I wake up every day to like 100 people with just one question. Okay. It's always a beautiful thing. It's always, hey, just wanted to reach out. I'm from wherever in the world. I love your content. Thank you so much. Love the blessings, love the abundance, love the shout outs. Thank you so much for reaching out. But then all of that loveliness is followed by, I just have a quick question for you. And then my heart drops, because here's the thing. I do not have the time, nor do I have the energy to sit down and write every single person back that has just one question. I am only one person. And here's the thing. That's what my sessions are for. If you are someone who wants to reach out on a regular basis, I would definitely recommend you becoming a monthly moon subscriber. My subscribers are the only ones out of my clients that have an open line of communication with me, which means that if you wake up one day and something really funky is going on and you have a question or something's going on in your body, they reach out, they're going to get that answer. But here's the thing, guys, and I really wish there was multiple versions of me so that I could offer, advice and counsel for free. But waking up to a full inbox of 100 people every day with just one question, there's no way I can get back to you. So if your question is of utmost importance and you really want to dive into that and other issues, please consider booking a session. I am going to be activating my appointment calendar on the 1st. I did take a month off. I wish I was more caught up than I actually am, but I am going to be opening my calendar back up again. So if you are someone that has a question that wants to do the work, we can definitely, book you in and do this one-on-one and get all of your questions answered. But unfortunately, I thank you so much for the love in your guys' emails. I love that I am there, that my content is there to help you through these times and support you. I just cannot answer emails of, people just asking just one question. I know it seems like I should be able to, but I can't. I apologize greatly, but you know what? I'm also working on my energetic boundaries and I have to draw the line somewhere. So I want to thank you. But Here's the thing. A lot of the questions that I find, those just one questions in my inbox, those are questions that you should be asking on these videos. If you have a question that other people might be going through or that my answer to you could benefit other people, please drop it in the comment box. Now, I'm really working on my YouTube channel. I sit down, I try to answer every single person's question here on YouTube in reason. You know, we're not going to get into birth charts and individual questions and answers here. But if there's a symptom that you have or a weird situation that you think other people would be going through too, please drop it in the comments. I will do my best to answer all of the questions here in the comments. And hopefully my answer would be able to help not only you, but other people here in this community going through similar situations. So please, 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 if you have any questions, especially if we can help more than just you, let's spread the love and let's drop it in the comment section below. So, like I mentioned, my calendar will be open sometime on the 1st. And definitely be quick on the draw. The last time that I opened my calendar in November, before I shut down for the rest of the year in December, all the appointments were booked literally within like 2 hours. And I'm only kind of divvying up however many appointments I think I can handle, because not sure if you guys have noticed this, but my voice is really giving me a go. Not that I want to get into this big long story, but way back when I had my near-death experience, which wasn't so near because I was actually dead for over 4 minutes, they damaged my vocal cords, and I have done nothing but over the last 12 years struggle with my voice. And that's why I limit how many appointments I actually can put out in the run of the month, because between these forecasts and of course our chats on Friday evening, my voice is tapped out. So I don't want to overdo it, because if I lose my voice, well, then what are we going to do, right? So this is a very important thing that I've been learning how to take care of and nurture, and try to not push to the brink of no return, although I do a poor job of that very, very often. But that being said, please, please, if you're interested in booking a one-on-one session, watch that calendar and jump on those appointments. And like I mentioned, I am really hoping to have these 2022 energy forecasts out and available for your listening pleasure. I'm hoping Sunday, trying to give people a little bit of time after their New Year's celebrations and many people's hangovers the next day to kind of get in a vibe where they're ready to open their minds to the next year. Again, it's just a very brief summary, but it is going to give us a good idea on where the energy is taking us for the year. And again, if you're interested in diving into your individual chart and what this year has in store for you, or questions on what part of this year is going to be most beneficial for you to do something special, launch a business or get married or whatever the case may be, that is definitely a session that you should book one-on-one with me. So I want to really encourage you to do that. So now that all of that is out of the way, let's jump into some of the Ascension symptoms that we are going to be feeling as we move through this very first week of 2022. So let me just mention, we're coming in hot. 2022, we're in a new moon. My goodness. So what do we know about new moons? Well, they're dark. There's no light in the sky. We have to sit in the darkness, in the shadow of ourselves. It's no better time to do this, being as reflective as we need to be on the year that's just gone by, getting focused, getting tunnel visioned on the year in which we are welcoming in. But that dark energy, that shadow work energy, not only is going to be a heavy weight to bear on your chest, on your shoulders, in your neck, but we're also tapping into the collective, right? We just had a huge group of people wake up to, this whole ascension process. And that's why many of us are feeling weighted down, feeling low and slow, because we are technically tapping into the collective's energy, which is very dark, very heavy, very fearful. And it is our jobs being in this boot camp this light worker boot camp to alchemize those not so high vibes into something that we can work with, into love, into confidence, into optimism. And when we're able to alchemize that energy in our own physical bodies, we pour that back into the collective. That calms the fear, that calms the confusion. This is a give and take. This is an energy exchange. And this is why we have to be diligent with our own energetic practices, knowing what is ours to own, knowing what it is that we're picking up on in the collective, and doing our own work to make sure that we don't get so bogged down with the collective's energy that we get consumed thinking that is our own stuff that we thought we healed. Right? It's very important to know your boundaries, your energetic boundaries. What is yours to feel? What is yours to own? What is yours to work through? That is a huge learning curve and learning lesson. So we come in hot with this new moon. It is kind of dark. It is kind of heavy, very somber, very serious, because that is Capricorn energy. Again, I'm going to recommend that whenever my Procrastinate and Ask gets that moon guide uploaded, that you go ahead and you download that, because that's going to help you work through the shadow, help you put your blinders on the brightness of the future instead of the darkness of the past. But we're starting to see that we definitely shifted. We definitely shifted into the very beginning stages of New Earth. We did feel that divide. And of course, we have to go back to the 21st, the solstice, that we definitely seen that divide show up on the Schumann Resonance. Over this last week, the Schumann Resonance has been making a grid, like legit light beams coming down vertically and seeing very, very strong horizontal lines across. This is the grid work, okay? This is the foundation that we need. When you go ahead and you start building a house, you need a strong foundation. And normally you set that foundation up with grid work, with rebar, in order to pour your concrete or cement over it to build that strong foundation. This year is when we have to get nitpicky with the foundation underneath our feet. So for those of you that are saying foundation, like what are we talking about? I'm not building a house. What does this have to do with me? Foundation, okay? First of all, of your beliefs, of your energy, of your thoughts, right? The foundation of how it is that you expend your physical energy. The foundation of your relationships, of your own worth, of your own value, of what it is that you pour your time, energy, and attention into. The foundation of your health and wellness, to take care of your mind, your body, and your soul. This is 2022. It equals up to a number 6. I go in more in depth in this in the energy forecast for the year, but number 6 is all about the health and wellness, mind, body, and soul, reorganizing, restructuring in order to put ourselves first. That is not selfish, okay? You need to be on the top of your game before you try to get anybody else on the same game, right? You need to have a solid foundation in your own life before you invite other people to come stand on it. You want them to fall through, right? You have to make sure that what it is that you are building within yourself, within your life, is going to be strong enough not only to house you, but to house the people that you're bringing along with you, okay? So the Schumann Resonance is definitely showing us this foundational grid work. But because we are building foundations, what are we feeling in our physical bodies? We're feeling some freaking growing pains. We're feeling some cracking, some popping, some pressure. Where are we feeling it? In our legs, in our hips, in our spine, in our shoulders, in the base of our neck. We're talking about, we're still in Capricorn season. It rules over the bones, the structure of our human form. We are building new foundations, mind, body, and soul. We are definitely getting down to the weight, to the pressure, to the weight that we're bearing in our physical bodies because of all of the changes going on to our physical realm. So this might feel like you're coming down with something. You know, the day before you actually get sick, you're like, something's off. I'm not feeling 100%. Can't put my finger on it. I don't know if I'm getting sick. I don't know if I'm just tired. I don't know. I kind of feel cold and achy. What am I doing here? So then you start taking all the supplements and your oil of oreganos and putting yourself in a hot bath and drinking hot tea with garlic and honey in it. And just for the preventative measure, because we want to take care of our physical body, our physical form. And we're definitely going to be feeling like we're coming down with something. We're achy. We can't quite put our finger on it. Something's different. We don't feel 100%. We also don't feel sick, but something doesn't feel right, right? We're at the beginning stages of building a totally different reality for ourselves, and we don't know what to do. Now, many of us just got off the battlefield. If you go back a couple Ascension forecasts over the last couple of weeks, you will know that solstice was a game changer. We are warriors of light, my friends. We've been on the battlefield fighting the good fight. Just a reminder, the light has already won. We are just seeing the fallout take place in this physical realm from the energetic war that has already been won in other realms. And again, we are merely an experiment to the gods and goddesses, to the source energy of the cosmos. It's all connected. We are all connected. We are literally the physical pawns in which their powerful energy gets played out on this physical realm because of the density here on Earth. Okay, so quick reminder, we're all connected. We're all pawns. We're all in a game. We're all on a battlefield. Many of us are still feeling the hurt, the achiness, the pain from coming off the battlefield. It was supposed to be a restful time, but I would say right now, if we could all raise hands, I think we would all agree that it hasn't been very restful. It might be a slower pace. It might be a heavier energy, but I don't know that many of us are getting the kind of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual rest that we actually need at this particular point. So yeah, we might be feeling like we're coming down with something. We're feeling that weight. We're feeling that pressure. We just got off the battlefield. We're achy. We have some wounds that we got to take care of and mend up. We got a lot going on. And of course, the Ascension symptoms, the quote unquote Ascension flu, that's just your standard signs and symptoms of feeling like you're getting a cold, of like you're feeling like you're getting achy. And sometimes if you don't take care of your energy, if you don't take care of your physical form, your physical body will come down with a virus, with an illness, with a sickness. Why? Because that's the only way that you're going to slow down and let those light codes do their thing in your physical form. So one of these things that I find the biggest thing for me anyways, and for many people, because I've been reading your emails, I might not be responding, but I've been reading your emails over this last week, and there's been a lot of stomach distress. Now, I did talk about this last week and the week before about coming into this holiday season and being very careful what it is you've been putting in your bodies, and I don't think there's any single one of us right now that can honestly say that they did not cheat. They did not put something new in their body. They did not eat junk food. They did not, stray from the healthy regime in which they were used to. Okay. We all cheated. I did. And I'm suffering the consequences for it 100%. And here's the thing, that some stomach distress is not only because of our diet, because of the things that we chose to put in our body. It's because we're a little bit queasy. I mean, damn, we just had all this adrenaline being on the battlefield, and now we're calming down and we're still on edge, but we don't know what's next. And, the waves of energy coming in have been so freaking intense. They have been spread apart. But the ones that have been coming in have actually been coming in 3-hour intervals, and then nothing for maybe a day or two. And then bam, bam, bam. Again, let me tell you, this is like being on a freaking roller coaster on an elevator, and you can get a little bit queasy. So as if we didn't have, the dietary issues coming up, we're also in a stage of cleansing and purging, right? We talked about that last week. All of us are scheduled for a detox, for a cleanse right now. Not a better time to do it than moving into a brand new year, especially where health and wellness of our physical body is on the top of the list. And you know what? There's been many people that have gotten a legit stomach bug. And sometimes, like I said, our human bodies need to come down with bugs in order to, A, give us a chance to lay down and let the light codes do their thing, but also to clean us out. What happens when you start feeling better after a stomach bug or after a cold or after a flu? You feel brand new. And that is kind of where we're at. So we have to watch out for A, yes, what we're putting in our body, B, how it is that we're responding to the ups and downs of this energy, and C, there's this really weird sensation going on. And again, a raise of hands in the comments. I don't know if it's a gas bubble and I just need to burp. I don't know if I'm going to puke. I don't know if I should just, if I'm starving to death, then that's the hunger pain that I'm experiencing. It's all over the place. And I literally, it's a crapshoot at this point. I go all day and I'm like, oh, I kind of got this air bubble, or maybe I'm going to get sick. I don't know. I'm kind of nauseous, kind of queasy. And I'm trying to think, well, do I want something to eat? Well, no, nothing really appeals to me. Nothing really sounds good. So I go on trying to drink water or tea. And then I'm like, oh no, you know what? I am starving. This is a hunger pain. I should probably eat something. Now, let me tell you, and I know the rest of us, we're not really having cravings, right? Many of us aren't even like really hungry anymore. And then all of a sudden the hunger pains become so intense that suddenly we think that we're going to puke, and it's not fun. But this will likely continue, especially because we are literally adjusting to a brand new energy, a brand new year, brand new blast coming in. The grid work is down. And now we're like, what's going on? Like, where's the sensation coming from? It's like we have to relearn our bodies all over again. That is a very natural thing when we ascend, when we boss up to the next level. It's like, something's different. Well, everything's different. Oh, okay. My body doesn't respond to that again, right? Some of us, I did this actually a couple of years ago, but I'm going through a phase of like switching things up again. Even like your shampoo, your conditioner, your skin, like your skin cream and stuff that you put on, sometimes our bodies are no longer down with what it is that we have been using. It is time to, of course, purify and make sure that whatever you're putting on your body, on your skin, is as natural and as organic as possible. May I remind you, your skin is the largest organ, our largest input of information. And if you're putting a bunch of crap that is man-made and just chemicals and all kinds of crap on it, you're absorbing that shit in your skin. That is not going to help your energy body nor your physical body be in the optimal state of health, okay? We have to kind of review what it is that we're interacting with, what it is that we're willingly putting on our body, entering into our physical form, because of course, not only does it have repercussions on our physical body, it has repercussions on our energetic body as well. We have to get back to the cleanest state possible. So speaking about like creams and shampoos and all this kind of stuff, we're having huge breakouts, okay? Pimples, zits, cysts, rashes, eczema. This is a huge indicator that our bodies are going through a purge or going through a cleanse. Now let's talk about face breakouts for a second. Many of us are having forehead or third eye breakouts, let's call them. Why? Because we just reached a brand new level of this energetic game that we're in, where our third eye leveled up. It's almost like our third eye was almost needing glasses, and we just got glasses, and now we're seeing things in a brand new light, brand new details. Holy crap, things coming at you, information just pouring in. And because of that, we're having a little bit of a disturbance on our skin. Now, the other area that we are having breakouts on our face is around the nose. This is a heart chakra activation. The lines around your mouth is the stomach activation. Of course, if your stomach is upset because of what we're putting in it or just from other things, we're going to have that indicator on our face. And the last indicator that we're having for breakouts is on our jaw lines. That's hormonal, right? We just leveled up. We're in a different level of the video game. Our bodies are all over the place. We have to find balance again. And the hormones are a big part in it. We are going to have Venus and Mars, the feminine and masculine energy, conjunct at 0 degrees in Aquarius in February. It's going to be a big deal. That's when the feminine and masculine energies that each and every single one of us have within ourselves are going to be balanced out. We're going to be locking in that balance, the work that we've done. And right now, our hormones are surging, trying to find that balance because we're out of whack. We're out of cue, right? There is a dominant energy in every single one of us, and that level is changing because we just leveled up. So the skin rash and the eczema that, can pop up likely on your elbows, on your knees. Again, this is a time when we have a lot of fear and uncertainty about the year ahead. and about, what we're actually capable of and what is actually possible. And that fear gets locked in those particular areas of our body, in those joints. Now, kneecaps and the legs in particular, that's where we hold the fear of being able to move forward. The fear, let's say, or energy blockages that we have in our arms is because, again, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. We are magic, okay? Our hands, our fingers is where our output of energy comes out. If our fingers were magical wands, we have that electricity coming out of our arms. That's why many of us struggle with shoulder pain and elbow pain and wrist cracking and injuries on our hands, because we're afraid of our own power. We don't know how to direct it. And this week we are having these huge breakouts because we're going through this cleanse, we're going through this purge, and it is showing up in the form of skin disruptions, especially on these particular areas of our body. Now, on that whole, let's call it dryness, if you will. Now, our physical body sees it as dryness, our energetic body sees it as a cleansing, as a purge. We are going to have dry lips. I want to talk about the rims of our nose holes, okay? Your nostrils. You ever just get I don't even want to say crustiness, but cracked red rims around your nose, okay? There's a lot going on. Our sense of smell is changing. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Our whole facial features, we talked about this last week. We look different, okay? Now, for the most part, I'm going to say the majority of us have identified with looking younger. There is a small group of people that feel that they are looking older. I just want to remind you, if you are looking at yourself in the mirror and you see old, you see disgust, you see all this kind of stuff, you still have some work to do, my friends. That is the old 3D identity trying to be removed from you, but you have some self-worth, self-value issues, self-confidence issues that you haven't worked through, preventing you from actually purging that old mask, because it is a mask, and allowing the new rejuvenated, lighter vibe version of yourself to actually be seen. You're hiding behind your old 3D avatar and identity. So for those of you that wrote me and said, oh my God, the wrinkles, and I look like I'm 50 years old and my skin is cracking and I look disgusting and blah, blah, blah. You got to do the self-work issues, okay? Self-worth, self-value. We have Venus retrograde in the shadow right now. She's trying to help us break down where it is that we're not so confident, where we're not feeling ourselves. And if you're looking in the mirror and all you're seeing is this old Betty, well, guess what? You're holding on to that 3D identity. You got to put the mask down and reveal the light, younger version of your light being self behind that very tired facade. The dryness in the corner of your eyes, so likely because we're having some overactive tears, not only because many of us are crying because of the darkness and the depression of the collective and just the endings and the closure, but our eyes, and again, I'm going to talk about this in just a sec, we like Jupiter just went into Pisces. This is our psychic abilities. This is our metaphysical abilities, like just being turned up on blast, right? Jupiter magnifies whatever it is that he needs to focus on. And he's in Pisces right now. And Pisces is the psychic abilities, the metaphysical realm. And because of that, like our senses are just tapped right out. We are hypersensitive. Everything is bright. Smells are too strong. Scents are too strong. We can hear things that we shouldn't be able to hear. And this in itself is creating a lot more tears in our eyes, the overactiveness in our eyes and the pH value in our bodies, likely due to the diet issue and the stomach acid being produced. But, the salt content in our bodies, that's how we get it out. We got to cry. We have to pee. We have to get, the liquid flowing here. And the salt is literally drying out the corner of our eyes. And you can actually not only just have wrinkles and red spots there, but you can get eczema patches. You can get soreness. They can crack. They can actually bleed if you don't take care of yourself. So you want to just pay attention to how much water is coming out of your eyes, and maybe lubing up the corners of your eyes to try and prevent that salt from just burning a hole through your skin. So what do I want to go back to? I want to go back to the blahness, okay? And it is a thing. I'm coining this, okay? Many of us are in a state of blahness. We're like, what now, right? So we talked about building the foundation. Let's use the house analogy because that gives everybody a good, perspective. We can get all on the same page. So we're building a house. We had to frame up the foundation. We put the rebar down. It's on rocks. Like there's a process to it, right? There's a strategy to it. I don't know if you ever built a house, but if you didn't, you're going to learn a little bit of the layers, the planning, the long-term planning, because we're in Capricorn season. You can't just say today, okay, I'm going to build a house and go out there and start, wailing the hammer around and getting down to the nitty gritty. You have to plan. You have to know what the house is supposed to look like. You have to have plans. You have to have measurements. You have to have a material list. You have to have a schedule. You have to have all this. Okay. So think of us coming into this year into Capricorn season saying, okay, the end goal is to have this house and this is what it's going to look like. Here's the colors. Here's the finishings. Here's the layout. It's all down to the dime, right? We did that. Well, now we got to get to work on it. So what do? We have to build the foundation. What needs to happen? Well, we have to prepare the earth. We have to level it out. We have to add, rocks and crusher dust and level it all out and put your rebar down and tie that rebar into the wood frame. And then you got to pour your concrete. And then what has to happen? We have to sit back. We have to watch it dry. We have to watch it settle. Why? Because it might crack. What happens if we have a foundation with a bunch of cracks in it? Well, it's not going to be very safe to build a house on, is it? Same with our lives. Same with our plans, right? Relationships. No strong relationship was ever built on a shitty, shaky foundation of mistrust and disloyalty, right? You can't jump into a job and not have the skills to actually support you to fulfill that job, or else you would have never got it. You have to make sure that the foundation is legit, and it takes time to cure, right? Foundation, when you lay that cement, it takes time to cure. We have to analyze the cracks that show up. Are they just, superficial cracks? Are they deep enough to cause a problem? Can we just fill it and do a small repair? Should we bust it all up and do it over again and look at the underlying pinning of our foundation so that we get it right the second time? This is how we build the foundation that our dream house will be built on. So it's almost like right now, we're like, what now? Okay, well now we're sitting here, we're watching the cement dry. We're like, oh, damn, okay, that kind of looks like a different color over there. Is there going to be a crack there? Oh, I wonder how big the crack's going to be. Is it a small crack? Like, are we going to have to start over? Is there a repair kit that we can put in here? Are we going to have to, really, is this going to be safe enough? Should we test this? Is it level? And then we're standing back and we're like, okay, well, what do we do now? I mean, we have to wait until we have all the answers here and we're all just standing around. We're at a construction site, right? We all know. Now, don't take any hate on this, okay? I'm a construction girl myself. I love my construction workers. But there's a fair amount of time that construction workers just stand around observing, okay? Right now, we're in that period. We're in observation period. We're making a move. We're taking a step. We're putting the foundation down. Now we got to step back and we got to observe. We got to be patient and wait and see what this first stage is going to look like for us. And many of us are just like, oh, blah, damn, this isn't so exciting. This is just we're literally watching concrete dry. Like, how exciting is this? What are we going to do about it? Well, what we should be doing about it is we should be going back to our plans. We should be getting organized. We should be getting strategic. We should be getting calculated in what is the next step. And we have to plan for the worst case scenario, which is that this concrete doesn't settle. There's, detrimental cracks, so much so that we're going to have to jackhammer it all up and start over again. Okay, that's worst case scenario, but we're going to plan for that. We are going to plan for the worst case scenario. We are also going to plan for the best case scenario. So if everything is good and the foundation is legit, what's the next step? Well, now we got to get the framers in here, right? Now we got to bring the lumber in, which, will connect to the supply chain issue and the cost of actual wood in the world right now. Maybe we don't have enough money to buy the wood right now. Maybe we're going to have to sit on this foundation for a couple of months until the prices go down. Or maybe we've been stockpiling, preparing for, this particular event in the sequence of building our house. Regardless, we need to be planning for the worst. We need to be planning for the best. And somewheres in the middle, we have all the logical and practical, calculated, strategic steps put into play so that there's no guesswork, so that there's no flying by the seat of our pants. This is not the year to fly by the seat of your pants. That was last year, okay? If you are still in a state where you're waking up every day and winging it, you're not doing your job. Your job is to mature. Your job is to boss up. Your job is to learn. Your job is to take control and to implement rules and responsibilities and boundaries in which you can operate in the parameters of, in order for you to know that there will not be chaos. And if there is chaos, you know how to handle that because you already planned for the worst. Okay? This is where we're at. But this what now-ness is very blah. We're sitting there, we're watching concrete dry, we're thinking about all the steps and all the, what's next and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden we float off into space. Suddenly we're not even in our body. Suddenly we're just thinking about the end goal of what it's going to be like to be living in our dream house. People don't realize the amount of steps that it takes in order for that dream house, for the homey feeling to actually be built. This year is the year that we are doing that. So we're going to have to deal with the blahness of the what now as we wait to see how the foundation that we just poured actually comes together, actually levels up. So I hope you enjoy that analogy. I'll probably continue using it throughout the year because this is what this year is going to be all about. So back to the physical body for a second. I want to talk about choking on spit. Lord Jesus, I did this yesterday, and you know what? I tried to stop it. That was my mistake. Okay, I tried to stop it mid swallow with the spit going down the windpipe. And what happens? I disrupted the system. I tried to stop it, and it actually made it worse because all day I tried to clear that freaking spit out of my chest, trying to deep cough to move this tingly freaking feeling. I should have just choked full blown on my spit, got it over with, gasped for air, and start over fresh. That's what I should have done. But here's the thing. We're likely going to be having these sensations where we're choking on our spit again. Our throat chakras are hugely activated. Many of them popped off last week in some family drama over the holidays, which many of us are probably still trying to recoup from. But we're going to have this urge to cough and clear our throats, whether you choke on the spit or not, whether you try to interrupt it like I did or not. And if you do have this sensation, please don't interrupt the process. Just let yourself choke, gasp for air, get it over with, because otherwise you're going to have a very long, annoying day of trying to correct the in your freaking chest. Now we know that we're having chest activations because Venus, like I said, is retrograde in Capricorn in the shadow right now. She's in the underrealm dancing with Pluto, the god of the underworld, dancing in the shadow, dancing in the pain, dancing in the suffering. Why? To humble ourselves. Why do we need to do that? Because we have some self-worth and some self-value issues that we need to address before we go on to the next level. Why the hell are we going to spend all this time building our dream house if we don't think that we actually deserve it? We're going to be walking around this beautiful dream house once it's built going, oh my God, this is too nice. I don't deserve to be here. Oh my goodness, look at this beautiful house that I built. How did I ever build this? I'm not good enough to do this. Maybe I didn't do a good enough job on the foundation. Maybe I didn't, hammer things together. We cannot be second guessing ourselves, okay? You have skills and talents that you haven't even busted out yet. But the self-worth and self-value issue is what's holding you back from sharing your best self with the world. Okay, many of us have got to stop playing in the dark, have got to stop turning our lights down dim. It is time to put on full lights, full blast, and shine this mother effer up so freaking bright that we start attracting other galactic beings in the cosmos to come say, look at this Earth place just lit up like a Christmas tree. What they got going on? Look at the worth and the value that these people are just swimming in. That's where the love is at. That's where the vibration is at. That is where the frequency is at. So yeah, we're going to have heart activations. We're going to have that deep cough, that deep urge to clear the throat again, the heart and the throat chakra. We are switching up this week. Now, with all of these, I feel like I'm getting sick. I feel like my stomach hurts. I feel like that. We're probably still going to be having these low-grade fevers, these night sweats, this very abrupt temperature change. Now, I'm always running cold. I can never be warm unless I'm like laying in a bath of hot water that was poured from hell. Like legit has to be hotter than hell in order for me to even say that I'm feeling warm. But we're going from hot to cold. We're sticking in cold. We can't get warm. And then all of a sudden, somebody turns on the internal furnace from hell. And now we're on fire. Our blood is boiling. It's all over the place. What does this tell us? It tells us that, again, we're in an adjustment period with our physical body. And we have to find balance once again. It's hard to do. And because Jupiter moved into Pisces and because we're hypersensitive, because we're kind of channeling new abilities and activating those DNA and light codes that we've already been downloaded with, like I said, our senses are all off. Lights are bright, smells are too strong, sounds are too loud. We have to find the balance. We have to find the comfortability level once again. And it's hard to do because we don't feel good. We don't feel good in our physical bodies. Well, why is that? Well, because we're purging, we're letting go. We have to understand that we've cut some energetic cords. We've deleted some soul contracts. That is a big deal. We just left the earth as we know it, as humanity has ever known it. It's dead. It's gone. It's collapsed. It's destroyed. The grid work is there. We're in new earth. Okay. Even the sleepers, they're in new earth. They just don't know because they're vibrating in a state of fear, right? They don't know, but we know. We have to know because it's up to us to alchemize their fear and their trauma and their suffering that they don't know how to process yet. That's our jobs. We're grid keepers. We hold the light. We alchemize the dark into light. We alchemize the pain into power. We are doing it. That's why we've been in boot camp. That's why many of us awakened over a decade ago. We are the wave of volunteers that Dolores Cannon spoke about. We all signed up for this. There's a waiting list of souls from other realms to get into physical bodies here on earth to be awake for this particular turning point, this ascension process, this awakening that Mother Earth and her inhabitants are going through. So as tough as it is to be here, we have to remind ourselves that we signed up for this. And guess what? We are lucky to be alive, to witness this, to be a part of Earth's history, because there are thousands and thousands and thousands of souls that wish that they could have been incarnated in a physical body at this particular time, and they didn't get here in time. They're still watching it from up above, and that's why I say let's light this bitch up like a Christmas tree and at least give them a show, right? We have an audience. You have no idea how many eyes are on us right now. Let's give them a freaking show. So yeah, we're going to have, well, I did talk about the sore wrists and the hands and the fingertips because again, we're afraid of our own power. We don't know how to direct it. I want you to literally tap into your inner Harry Potter, okay? I want you to just align with the power and I want you to just kazam your finger over there and just imagine the electricity coming through your body and channeling that energy out through your arms and out through your fingertips and just feel the energy moving in your body. That's how you build trust with your power, is you allow yourself to go off in la la land. You breathe in your inner Harry Potter, you do a kazam, and you, in your third eye, in your imagination, feel the energy being channeled through your physical form. That's how we do it. That's how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to learn. So again, we talked about the neck stiffness because again, we're having pain, we're having cracking, we're having popping. There's a lot of tension in our physical bodies right now. Again, we are adapting to a brand new physical form. There is an adjustment period, especially from now up until the first quarter moon in Aries. This is a reflective time. We should really be nurturing our physical form, not taking action. We need to heal the wounds of the battle in which we just stepped off the field from. We have to kind of rejuvenate ourselves, prepare ourselves for the next phase of action that isn't coming until the 9th. So be patient with yourself. You know, we're in this blah stage of what now? Well, what is now is to sit your ass down, to nurture your physical form, to heal yourself back to a point where you have the energy, the drive, the will, the discipline to actually do something different and taking action, rolling up your sleeves, because we have a freaking house to build. Just not yet. Right now, we're just watching the concrete dry. Okay. So be patient with that. But so we're bringing in a lot of energy in our crown. I want to talk about this for a second. This is going to trigger some very brief but intense headaches. Not even migraines. I hate to even use the word headache. This is like oh my God, I feel like I have a brain aneurysm. Your ears are ringing. Your sight kind of goes blurry, and then it alleviates, and there might be some bubbles, some lightness in your head. Again, this is crown activations, light and information coming in from the cosmos into the crown. We talked about the breakouts happening on the face, but we also need to talk about the fact that you could be having nosebleeds, not just because the dryness is going on, because our veins, our blood vessels are adapting and adjusting to the new pressurized system that the light codes are activating within our physical bodies. And of course, our rhythm, right? We all have our own body rhythm, our own algorithm, if you will. New data, new information changes the algorithm within our bodies, within our systems. And things are contracting and very constricting. And this is going to cause some nosebleeds, especially with the huge amount of pressure coming in from the crown. This can also cause dizziness. This is the spaciness, the dissociative, energy that we've been talking about. And hella confusing. Why? Because we're sitting around going, oh, I feel like something big's going to happen, but nothing's happening right now. What's going on? Let me remind you, we're watching concrete dry. We have to see whether or not this foundation is going to be level enough, strong enough to house the next phase of the house that we're building. Lymph nodes. Many of us have had this probably about a month ago. Our lymph nodes swell up. When your physical body is under attack from a virus, from a bacteria, your lymph nodes swell up in your neck, under your armpits, in your groin. We have hundreds of little lymph nodes throughout our bodies, but those are the main ones that usually swell up and give us an indicator that something's not right in our body. You have to flush your system, okay? Lymph nodes, the whole lymph system is trying to detox and get the gunk out of your body. But if you're, heavy on, drugs or alcohol or sweets or whatever the case may be, and you're bogging down your liver and your kidneys and your spleen and all those detox organs, your lymph system is going to get backed up. And you might not have a cold, you might not have the vid, but you have a lymph node issue. It's asking for help. You're not paying attention. You need to put the liquids to you. You need to flush that system out. Again, we're all kind of scheduled for a detox, especially in your liver. Get on that. Give your body the cleanest system it has to kind of move that crap through you. We're going to have some root chakra pain. I'm going to say sciatic pain, maybe in the butt region. Maybe it's a literal pain in the butt, right? Maybe you have some too much pressure in your bowels that, of course, is going to create some not so nice friends that are going to hang out in your bowel butt region. That's going to create a literal pain in your ass. This is because we're congested. And of course, we want to move forward, but we're holding back fear. So our legs are all effed up, right? Because we're at a standstill right now. Our top part of ourselves are going through all of these dramatic changes. Our heart rhythm, our heart chakra, our throat chakra, our crown, all of this energy on the top part of our bodies is going at such an accelerated rate that, it's a huge disconnect from the lower extremities. And talking about the lower extremities, we're going to have some thigh spasms up high, like right below your hips, definitely above the knee. Again, that's where we store the fear, is in the knees and the ankles. Now, many of us have still had the leg cramping, the leg tingling. This should ebb and flow. If you have any symptom for an extended period of time, it's because you're not doing the inner work, right? Energy blockages are what prolong the ascension symptoms. The ascension symptoms pop up for us to have an indicator where the energy is blocked. Then it's up to us to do the inner work that's needed in order to release that energy blockage If, I had a couple of emails like, oh, well, you haven't talked about the leg cramps or the leg spasms for a while. Like, is that still going on? Yeah, it is still going on, but it should be constantly changing. It might leave for a couple of days. It might come back in full force. It might go from tingling to cramps to spasms, whatever the case may be. There should be some kind of movement. If you are having the same kind of pain or irritation and it's not changing at all, it's because you're not doing the shadow work that is necessary in order to remove that energy blockage from your body. So you're going to really want to be accountable and responsible for what you haven't done and what it is you need to do, what it is you've been avoiding within yourself in order to see some of these ascension symptoms alleviate. So with that being said, yes, there is restless leg syndromes, but most of this is coming from anxiety, from anticipation, from what's happening next. What do we do next? What's the next step? What's the next stage? That's a lot of undirected energy. This can really put us in a state that most of us would kind of consider anxiety. But again, may I remind you, anxiety is a man-made label for undirected and unchanneled energy. Give your energy a purpose, give it a focus, give it something to do, and it won't bounce around inside you like a pinball machine. We have to lighten the load, mind, body, and soul. Our mental process is going to change with Mercury moving into Aquarius. It is going to free us from some of the very limiting thoughts and beliefs that we've had about ourselves. It's going to liberate us from the past, from the old. It is going to open up our mind, make us a little bit more innovative and progressive on how it is that we're going to whip this dream house into shape at an accelerated rate where we can start enjoying the fruits and rewards of our labor instead of, just dragging our ass out of bed and flying by the seat of our pants and then putting our ass back into bed at the end of the day, just exhausted with no productivity to actually show for our energy and for our efforts. So guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. We have to just take a minute, and I'm going to take this minute to thank you so much for all the love and support that you've given me over this past year. Regardless of whether it was a good year or a bad year for you, there's a life lesson, there's silver linings, there's peaks, there's valleys in every single thing that we do. I want you to take this time, even if it's 5 minutes, and I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to think where it is that you were last year and all that has transpired. I want you to open up your heart space to good, bad, and otherwise. I want you to pluck out those silver linings. I want you to hold the vibration high, and all of the crap, all of the things that just made your 2021 absolutely suck. I want you to think of crumpling it all up in a ball. Okay. Take your hands, your magical Harry Potter wand fingers, and I want you to crumple every single thought, every single experience that you just never want to think of again or feel the pain of again. And I want you to crumple that ball into a smaller ball. And then once you're done thinking about the year, I want you to take that ball and I want you to biff it so freaking hard in the cosmos and surrender that to the universe to transmute it into something better that you can work with, because we sure as hell are not working with the lower vibrational frequencies that rose to the surface throughout 2021. So throw that ball, take a deep breath, breathe in all of the joy, all of the happiness, all of the visions of this beautiful dream home that we are building in 2022. This is our focus. This is our vision. This is our hope. This is our dream. This is our reality that we will be living. But we got to put the time in. We got to put the energy in. We got to put the effort in. Dream houses are not built overnight. We have some work to do, but guess what? We are ready. We are prepared. We are where it is that we need to be in order to launch ourselves into this brand new year with so many freaking opportunities to grow, to receive the blessings, to receive the abundance. Not only that we've been praying for, that has been divinely scripted to bless us with their presence in 2022 because of our divine plan that we are all collectively working together to bring to life. Okay? So I want to thank you for your love and support over 2021, but I also want to fill you with love, with joy, with happiness, with a visual, with the warm, tangly feeling that you need to hold coming into 2022, because that, my friends, are what dreams are made of. I love each and every single one of you. I want to thank you for showing up, not only for me, but for yourselves. You're never alone. Let's get this done. Let's bring New Earth to life. Happy New Year's, guys. We'll talk to you soon.